And now, to present for this award, please welcome all the way from the left-hand side of the stage, Screenwriter Andrew Chapman, everybody!
Before I do cinematography, I just want to take a moment and accept the 2020 award for Best Sound Editing. I know that it's a little off track, but Chris announced the award like 3 days ago, and it was given to the guys who were sound editors on The Abyss. And I don't know the guys, never met them in my life, but I did work on the movie. I was the location manager, which for a movie that was on a submarine and underwater, you may ask, why am I accepting a award for sound editing? But I have a reason. It is because James Cameron, the director, yelled at me numerous times. And not just yelled, screamed at me, like over and like in my face, like you are a moron from hell, like my mother could be a better location manager than you. So I feel that traumatic emotional abuse allows me to accept the award for best sound editing. So thank you guys for your sound effort. And thank you, James Cameron, for being a sterling human being and truly someone I will look up to for the rest of my life. And Terminator 1, by far your best movie ever. I mean, come on. All right, so cinematography. I actually know nothing about cinematography. My dad is a big DP, Michael Chapman. He shot like Raging Bull and like a ton of other movies. But when I was a little kid, yeah, you really do. I really know all of those nominees, like personally. When I was a little kid, the idea of working like 18 hours a day and nights and shooting in motels for the rest of my life, I was like, no way. I'm not going to become a DP. But we knew a lot of screenwriters, and they like got up at 10 o'clock in the morning and they worked in their pajamas and they worked for like 2 or 3 hours and had drinks and played golf, and I was like, that's the schlubby Jew with the typewriter. That's my hero. That's the guy I want to be. That didn't stop me from basically pretending to know about cinematography my whole life. So when I got my first directing job, I walked in there and I was like, cinematography, it's in my blood. It's in my DNA. I know it so well. F-stops and fill light and moving the camera. And I got the job. And I was, my dad is going to be with me the whole time. He's going to talk in my ear. And I wasn't even talking to the guy. I mean, I like hated him at the time. So my relationship to screenwriting is complicated. And my relationship to cinematography, even more complicated. Actually, I was going to hijack the awards. I told Chris I was just going to give the award to my dad, because he did shoot a movie 20 years ago. Unfortunately, it was Ghostbusters 2. Even I could not bring myself to I actually rented it and watched it. I was like, oh my god, this is truly bad. All right, so the nominees. So for best picture, for best cinematography was Freddie Francis, who, that was nicely shot. I mean, that was a classic, like, Academy Award Best Cinematography Award. It was dark and dramatic, and it had Denzel and slavery and the whole thing. And, he won. I could never see another movie about slavery again in my life. Be fine. Holocaust too. No more Holocaust movies. Done. Then the other guy who got nominated, Michaeli Solomon, is actually a good friend of the family. And if I thought that James Cameron screamed at me a lot, he screamed at Michaeli every fucking day, 24/7. I mean, he just ripped that guy constantly. So personally, I would give it to Michaeli just for putting up with the bullshit, because that was, and Chris, I think you should have a new category, which is person who puts up with the most bullshit to get their movie made. I think that would actually work. Like, I had to do 52 drafts of my movie to, I don't know, just throwing it out there as a possibility. All right, and so the winner, Biasco Giurato, is actually a guy I don't know because he's Italian. It looked nice. It was pictures of Italy, was the war, whatever. Personally, I don't know know shit about cinematography, so.